Hi, my name is Julia. I'm going to show you an event manager that I made with Meteor.js. This app allows real-time collaboration with multiple users across multiple devices. It's built on Android as a native app and on the web right here. So, Meteor.js is a JavaScript platform. It's actually an isomorphic development ecosystem. That means there's the same code running on the client, the server, and across mobile platforms like Android and iOS. I built the Android app using the Cordova package with Meteor, and I used Twitter Bootstrap for the front-end style, Node.js, and MongoDB. And then there's also Blaze on the front end. So I'm just going to give you a quick demo of this app. So you'll sign in here, let's say Jesse. Jesse is signed in. All of this functionality here, you saw the configure Facebook login and configure Twitter login. That's OAuth functionality that Meteor basically allows you to add just with one command from the command line. I haven't set it up on Facebook and Twitter side, but it's already there, so I could do it within a few minutes. And then this other login stuff is all part of the package that you include with basically one line of code right here, login buttons. So that's just a little sample of the way Meteor works. So let's say Jesse wants to go on a camping trip. This is going to require a lot of people running around all afternoon getting things all over the city. So Jesse's going to create a plan. Camping trip. And see, this instantly gets added to the plans down here. And then Jesse wants to add some tasks. Let's say buy a tent, buy a tarp, pack tools, and oh yeah, someone needs to borrow the stove. So now if we click on the camping trip that Jesse just created, we can see all the tasks. So buy tent, buy tarp, all this stuff. Now I'm going to sign in as Julia from my phone. And even though I can't show you because of the screencast, this is a fully functional app that looks exactly what I have on screen. So Julia is going to select the camping trip that Jesse just created, and she's going to add sleeping bags, because that's important. Alright, so sleeping bags has been added to the list, and you see it pop up instantly down here. Now let's say Julia's at the store and she just bought a tent and she just bought a tarp, so she's going to cross those things off. And you see Jesse and everyone else sees these changes immediately. It's very fast. If you want to see what's left over to be done, you can toggle this button and just get the ones that have been completed. And as you can see in the past, other users, Elliot and Isos, have added all these different things, and you can have unlimited numbers of users using this planner at the same time. So that's a quick run through of my app. I'm going to show you the code really fast here. Here we have the HTML file, which is basically our view. We have some Twitter Bootstrap styling in here. And then right here are the login buttons I just showed you. And then on here, we're having each plan be displayed. Right here, this is coming from the JS file. It's taking the ID of the plan and inserting the text. This logic right here displays whether the current user is signed in. If you're not signed in, then you won't show this piece to the user. This little caret indicates a template, so this is inserting the plans container template right here. And within the plans container template, it's referring to each plan. And each plan is an array, and as it iterates over the array with this logic, it's inserting the plan template down here. And the same thing is happening for tasks. So now let me show you where this data is coming from. The JS file here contains everything that would basically be our model and our controller in the MVC architecture. Here we have the tasks, and this is a new Mongo collection, and plans, which is also a new Mongo collection. For everything that was just the tasks on here, I used the Meteor tutorial for creating your first app. It just walked me through creating a simple to-do list. You just do it all from the command line and write some simple code. For the plans, I basically created my own version on top of the to-dos, created some associations so I could link the two together, and then started making sure I really understood what was going on. Alright, so here, this code right here specifies whether this code is running on the client or the server. Because Meteor uses Node, it can run things in one file on either the client or the server. It's pretty amazing. So right here, this is specifying that the code is only running on the client. We have helpers that are passing in functions for hide completed. This is a session right here. And then here we're finding all the plans and returning them to the view so that we can display them. And here we're selecting plans, and when you click on the plan and select it, you'll be grabbing the ID and setting that ID to a session. And we can later use that down here to find just the tasks that belong to that plan. So here in the plans container helpers, we are going over the tasks that we return from a search in the Mongo database, and this returns tasks that match the plan with the ID that we selected, and it matches those that have not been checked if you're hiding the completed values. Otherwise it returns them all by creation date. And then this is the incomplete count over here, which is all the tasks that haven't been completed. Okay, so we just saw the helpers, and now we're going to go look at the Meteor events. So Meteor events are a lot like jQuery or Ajax. Basically, you set an event in the DOM to listen for, and then you listen for an action, like on submit of this form, for example, and then you override the default behavior of that event right here, and you grab the text, whatever you want from there, and assign it to a variable, and then you can insert it into your plans database like this. So this is creating a new instance of a plan thing, and this is clearing every time that we type in the text. Alright, this basically does the same things for tasks, except that we're associating tasks with the plan. Right here, we are saving a task with a plan ID associated to the plan that it's coming from. I had to look at the Mongo docs a lot to figure out this stuff. So, for example, it's not like a relational database where you have tables and joins. In Mongo, you have to set a reference or denormalize the data, and you can like nest related data within other objects. It's pretty interesting. Anyways, I just used a reference to get to this information. And then here, on hide completed input, I'm hiding the ones that I've already done. And down here, I'm grabbing the ID of the plan that you pick. And here I'm deleting plans. And here I'm deleting tasks. And here I'm being able to toggle the things that are checked. So you can toggle them back and forth. Great. I don't remember if I showed you this, but basically when you set up the login package that Meteor provides, it gives you all this functionality. And if you set username only, it'll allow you to only sign in with a username. If you don't do that, then it'll ask for your email too. So this was a really exciting project. With 3 files, I basically created a whole app and deployed it on the web and on an Android as a native app. As you can see here from the URL, this is actually running on the web. Meteor provides a free server for just a test and deployment site. And if you want to upgrade, I think they have something called a Galaxy, or maybe they're rolling it out. But basically that'll allow you to go a step larger and actually move your app into active production. Meteor's really fast, it's really exciting, and you can do so much from just the command line. This package contains so much. For example, you can deploy it from the command line. You can package it with Cordova and run it on your Android. Cordova is a mobile device API, so it basically allows you to interact with native functions of your phone, like the camera or like your GPS location. And so all of that comes bundled in. There's even a Bootstrap bundle. I didn't even have to separately install the Bootstrap code. Basically, I just ran a command from the command line, and it compiled all of the Bootstrap functionality into the final CSS file. There are a lot of advantages to Meteor. The ability to have code run in one file on the client or the server, all in JavaScript. The ability to instantly deploy something, having all of these command line functions at your disposal, like being able to use Bootstrap, Cordova, build it out across multiple devices, the isomorphic development ecosystem, which allows you to have the same code that you use on the client, on the server, on mobile platforms. And because of all this, the actual code you have to write is really short. Like, I did this whole app in under 130 lines of code for the actual functionality right here. If you look at the Meteor source files, I mean, there's a ton more stuff going on. And I could see how if you really wanted to configure something a certain way, you might run up against the limits of Meteor's flexibility. If you were really a master at this, it would be terrific. It would allow you to get so much done so fast. If you're a real beginner like me, it allows you to get a lot done really fast. If you're somewhere in between, and I think if you were wanting to create something really specific, it might be more difficult to do. I'm not sure about that though. I didn't really run up against those constraints. The only problem I had was maybe getting the login buttons to look a certain way. The Bootstrap stuff was conflicting with some of the built-in login functionality, and for a while when I clicked on this, it wasn't working. So I had to scrap my original design ideas and go with something more functional. So I guess that was me going along with the Meteor structure. Overall, though, this is an incredibly powerful tool, and I would definitely use this framework again to build more stuff. If you want to see my app or get the source code and play with it yourself, you can find it at Julia, G-R-A, on GitHub. So that's my handle, Juliagra. And yeah, it was a great experience. Thank you for listening.